Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. Yesterday, we brought you a video that was making rounds on the internet where some teachers who were owing salaries in the southeastern state of Imo had to go on a protest demanding for unpaid 12 months salary. For me, that's really unthinkable. And expectation was that the governor of Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma, was going to respond positively, possibly to give them a timeline to expect the payment of their salaries arrears. But shockingly, the response we are getting here, it seems not to be encouraging. And that's why we are always talking about issues like this, because it seems sometimes that the state government do not understand what kind of system that they are part of. This is democracy, system of government that revolves around the people. If you understand that, you will be very careful how you respond to the needs of the people, and you always prioritize them first in your list of importance. However, before we give you details of what Imo State Governor intended doing, I would like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. All right, according to the news, the Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has threatened to arrest any protesting teacher, worker, or pensioner in the state, insisting that his government is owing no one. He said those protesting against the directive of the government were not only ghost workers, but rented protesters by enemies of the government to misinform the public. The governor, who spoke through his commissioner for information, further accused the protesting teachers of constituting a nuisance in the state and misinforming the public, warning those who engage in that to desist or have themselves to blame. Primary and secondary school teachers in the state on Thursday took to the street of Owerri, the state capital, demanding for their 12-month unpaid salary arrears. The protesters, numbering over 300, stormed the government house, Owerri, with their employment details and placard, painting the government in a bad light. Mrs. Grace Ajelu, one of the protesting teachers who spoke to journalists, said she has spent 29 years in service, lamenting that she had not received salary since Governor Hope Uzodinma came on board. According to her, she said, I was employed and started teaching in 1992, but since the tenure of Senator Hope Uzodinma, I have not received a dime. The last salary I got was in February 2020. This is complete 12 months now, no salary. Why would the governor tag us ghost workers after 29 years of active service? This is the height of insensitivity and callousness. I am getting ready for my retirement. I have no other source of livelihood as a widow. How will I take care of myself and family? Hunger is ravaging us in the house. This is the means from which I pay my family bills. Now the government has refused to pay me and call me a ghost worker. God, why? I appeal to the governor to temper justice with mercy and pay us our 1 year salary arrears. We are dying gradually. Another teacher from Mbaitolu local government area, who gave her name as Juliet Akalasu, said that the governor was suffocating them to death. She disclosed that she had spent 8 years in active service. Hear her. What she said. She said, since March last year, I have not received any kobo as salary. This government is wicked and insensitive. Meanwhile, the government, through its Commissioner for Information, Declan Emalumba, had described the protesting teachers as ghost workers mixed with a hired crowd by enemies of the government to misinform the people. Emalumba spoke to some journalists in response to the protest. I mean, this is too sickening. I don't even know the word to qualify this kind of response from the government. Imagine the first woman talking about 29 years in service, and you are depriving her of salary and calling her ghost worker for 29 years. You are calling the person ghost worker. Are you sure everything is okay? Are you sure? Because I can't believe a woman who has saved her country for 29 years, you want to deprive her everything that she had worked for This is unthinkable. I'm telling you. This is unthinkable. Personally, as I'm reading this, I don't seem to believe that the government of Imo State can do this, because except you've not worked before and expecting payment and you're not being paid. For governors, they have well-designed pay package. They are even the ones deciding virtually everything. So if you know that you have bills to pay and you have an understanding of what the country is currently going through in terms of hardship and difficulty, you shouldn't deprive people who have put in so many years in service. You shouldn't deprive them of their salaries. How can you tell me for 29 years someone has been working and you're saying that the person is a ghost worker? How now? How now? Even me, even if the person was... This is why Nigeria is facing some of the issues that we find unsolvable now. When these things are starting normally, it's a matter of just negotiation. It's a matter of talking to the people. It's a matter of showing them you still care. You allow it to keep floating, and before you know, it turned out to be something that will swallow us up. The issue of IPOB, when it came up many years ago, I think 2013, when it came up, it was a case of the government looking at the situation on ground, having a roundtable talk with the people who were involved and seeing how they can cure the crisis. But nobody cared. Everyone was just looking at it as one of those little boys who are around town trying to disrupt the peaceful, the stability of the country and all of that. Man, there is nothing to write about. They left him. And before we know, today, it's one of the issues that have brought Nigeria to global spotlight. Everybody's talking about insecurity. Everybody's talking about challenges, lawlessness, and all of that. Because certain persons, at the early stage that this thing started, nobody cared about it. The same thing with this Fulani header/farmer clashes. When it came up, the government didn't sit down and say, let's solve this problem once and for all. Let's see how we can bring in ranches and the likes. Nobody cared about it. Today, it is what is causing Nigerians tears, causing some families serious tears, bringing down our economic activities. It is a high time when issues like this come up, the state government or even the federal government at one point can come into mediate here. Because how can you see someone who has served the country for as long as 29 years and you just feel that it's nothing to write home about, is a ghost worker for any reason that you classify her as a ghost worker? As much as I know, it's not good enough. No matter what you say, it's not good enough. This issue of say they are going to rent people to come and protest alongside others, blah, 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 blah. For me, it's stories for the gods. Sit down and solve the problem of the people. I had, at one occasion, I told them, hey, you guys should stop this issue of running after former governors and all of it. Yeah, it's worth doing, it's worth chasing, it's worth recovering those things. But concentrate more in solving the problem of your people. Because that is what really matters. Whatever that had happened in the past, somehow we're going to get it fixed. But hey, at the current time that we found ourselves, let's see how we can solve the problem. 12 months. Are you empathic in any way? Do you know what it means for someone to stay off payment schedules, to stay off money for 12 good months? She works and you refuse to pay her. She works again, you refuse to pay her. Who won't get mad? Who won't storm the streets? I mean, this thing is making us look as if we have little or no knowledge about what democracy really means. I pray that he will have a rethink and solve the problems of these people. And, most of the time when I hear some of the appointees and those who have been given appointment in any government, the way they talk is as if they don't even have feelings. When they leave the office, they expect people to understand with them that they were under pressure. That's why they did what they did. Minister of Commissioner of Information. He needs to come out and say something reasonable, not for you to be lying around saying what will make the people more angry and all of that. I'd like to leave it there, but for me, it's not interesting. I'm telling you, this is not a joke. The government should wake up, solve the problem of these people. All right, go to our comment section.